Life doesn't feel the same, but we always blame it on some sort of external factor, not realizing most of it actually comes from within. Life doesn't feel the same because we are so desensitized. We are so desensitized because of all the constant stimulation that we partake in on a day-to-day basis. On a day-to-day basis, we're constantly overstimulated, guys. I just want you to think about your mornings. It disturbs me that so many of us, when we wake up, the first thing we do is grab our phone, and we become so numb to how insane that is. We're not stretching. We're not making our food first. We're not making our bed first. The first thing we do is grab our phone. We're robotic. We're living these robotic lives and wondering why life doesn't feel as vibrant. Life feels the way it should if you're living like a robot. Dead, dull, nothing going on. So I had to question things that were normalized for the sake of my own sanity, because I was realizing just because a lot of people do something does not mean it's the right thing to do. Just because a lot of people are partaking in a certain behavior does not mean you can gaslight yourself into thinking it's okay to do for yourself. So there is this culture of constant stimulation within society where we're all constantly stimulated, constantly distracted. And we partake in it so much, we believe we can't live without this constant distraction. However, what I've come to find is you can break away, you can break through. I had one of the most beneficial practices for me to actually partake in was just the art of just being able to sit down and do nothing. You know how beautiful that is? Like, I can sit down at a table 30 minutes just like that, not doing anything. So it's so healthy. Why? Because you're taking away that stimulation. People are watching this video saying, I can't just sit down for 30 minutes and do nothing. That tells you what type of mind state your body is currently operating off of. You are overstimulated, so much so that not having that stimulation come for a prolonged period of time that's really not that long. 30 minutes, not that long in the grand scheme of your day, right? But that is so daunting because your body is essentially coked up. It's used to this constant sense of stimulation, and that stimulation is the weakness that leads to the mental decay you're seeing today. It's just so unfortunate because everyone is kind of tuned in to an extent. At this point, if you don't know something's a little off with life, I'm a little bit concerned with you. I might think you're a little bit delusional, but most people do understand that life is missing that it factor, that chef's kiss to really make it life. We're missing that. We're missing that divine spark. But why? And where people get it wrong is they blame these external factors. Now, don't get me wrong. Society is coaxing us into indulging into all these short-term pleasures, but it's always our choice at the end of the day. When you take your shower in the morning and you choose to listen to music, that's a choice you made. You might like the music, you might like the experience of taking a shower, but it does not mean that combination is a good way to set the tone for you because you are overstimulated. Just because we can multitask does not mean we should. And I feel like even me, there were moments where it's like you kind of get egotistical. Oh, I can do all these things at the same time. Well, cool, but should you? Because our body is biological machinery. So what we're doing effectively when we're doing too much at one time, when we're overstimulated, when we can't just take a shower and enjoy just simply being in the shower, washing ourselves with no other distraction, what we're doing is we're short-circuiting our biological machinery. And this has consequences on our mental health. I figured it out. I truly figured out the equation. I truly figured out the missing piece. When people are like, something doesn't feel right, I understand it because it's stimulation. We're hacking our body, but in the worst way. And how was I able to prove my hypothesis? Well, I used myself as a test subject. When I just took time out of the day to sit there and do nothing. When I just took time out of the day to read instead of listening to an audiobook or having my earphones in. When I took time to mentally apply myself in a boring way, life became beautiful, because boring is an illusion. We're just so stimulated. We see these activities as mundane and boring because we're addicts. We're addicted to stimulation. And I figured it out. I figured it out, man. Now, is it easy? You might recognize, okay, it is a problem, Dipsy, that I pick up my phone in the morning, I grab it, and I know it's a problem. How do I stop? How do I stop? Well, how frustrated with it are you? A lot of people know they have problems, but they're not at the point of frustration to where they're motivated enough to change it. You know, motivation is really a temporary thing, of course, but you have to reach a point of frustration with your current life if you have any hope to fix it. And for me, I was just super frustrated. I said, it's frustrating to feel like I don't have control, to feel like I always need something. These constant short-term pleasures put us in a state of need. You always know when it's negative stimulation, guys, because you're going to be stimulated as a human being, of course. You might be saying, Dipsy, but what stimulation is good? I'll tell you. You know it's negative stimulation when you're indulging in a short-term pleasure. You're indulging in a short-term pleasure. So what I mean by that is, when you do something that's a short-term pleasure, what do you constantly notice? You eat your favorite food, full of sugar, full of fat, processed to death. It feels good in the moment. It's so tasty. Oh, I'm never going to give it up, Dipsy. I know you tell me to eat healthy, but this just tastes so good. If you pay close enough attention to yourself, you feel like crap after. Why? Because it's a short-term pleasure. Short-term pleasures are cons. They're con jobs. They're literally a trick. And it's never worth it. Whereas positive stimulation has a tendency to actually feel terrible in the moment of doing it, and then it gives you long-lasting pleasure. So many people, what's stopping them from going to the gym isn't even time. It's knowing that they're gonna not feel their best in the process of working out, but it gives so much long-term pleasure that the ends always justify the means. And yet that's still not enough to get people to partake in something that is good for themselves. And it's because of this focus on short-term pleasure. If we don't have it now, we might as well not have it at all. And I just reject that, because short-term pleasure is something that you are noticing. It is constantly ramping up, constantly ramping up. There's going to be so much short-term pleasure within the next 10 years. You guys it's going to make your head spin. And we can't keep going in this direction of short-term pleasure. We have to be comfortable with the more slow, let things play out in your life. Like, truly, take a shower with no music, take a shower with no stimulation. You just take a shower, guys. You don't need a loud music distracting you. That puts you in a negative headspace to start your day, especially if it's the wrong type of music, which you should know certain music is not good for you to be processing. But I realized, like, just not having the ability to sit with myself was a weakness. It was a weakness, and I had to be honest about that. I should have the ability to just indulge in the simple moments, just sitting in my car, no music on. I'm not looking at my phone. I'm just sitting. I'm just being present. The ability to be present makes life feel more vibrant, because you're present enough to now realize what's going on around you in life. This video, right? If this video gets 100 views, a lot of YouTubers would say, oh, this video got 100 views. I didn't do anything. Think about a time in your life where 100 people have watched you do anything. When I picture 100 views, I picture a ring around me of 100 people watching me make this video. That is cool. But the disease is it's spread so far that people don't even understand these things anymore. They see it as, oh, I only got 100 views. What are you, a robot? If you see 100 people watch you do something, that is amazing, man. It's like these things we take for granted because we're so desensitized to life and the meaning behind things. Essentially, a lot of people have been hijacked in a sense. Your nervous system is so sporadic. It's moving so fast that you can't even take in life because life is slow and moves very steady. So you're moving quicker than life and wondering why life doesn't feel the same. Well, you need to stop moving so much, you know? And once I said that to myself and I was honest with myself, voila, all of a sudden life feels beautiful. All of a sudden I'm happy to be alive. I like being outside more, and it's because I'm taking life slowly. And I'm understanding that certain activities objectively are just not good to indulge in. I'm not saying, oh, this is normal. Oh, everyone else is on Instagram scrolling all the time, so I need to be doing that. No, I said, what is the right thing to do? Not what everyone else is doing, but what is the right thing to do? And once I did that, coincidentally, life just starts to feel amazing. You know, I said this in one of my other videos, but I find it beautiful that life always seems to work itself out when you do the right thing. So guys, if your life feels dull, if your life feels like it's missing something, I don't want you to look outside at external factors. I want you to actually look at yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, what am I doing that could be giving me the illusion that life is more dull? Because if you play a video game, people always say, oh, you know, the games back then, they made me feel alive, You play those games, man, there's not a whole lot going on. There's not a whole lot of action. The movement isn't as vibrant, and there's not as much content. You felt more alive at the time because most likely you were a child and you weren't so overstimulated. So these simple pleasures, a simple game could entertain you beyond belief. All these graphics, all this content, and people are so unhappy, and it's because we're so stimulated. The constant stimulation is nauseating. It's, I'm gonna throw up. It's just so much to deal with. So if you've made it this far in the video, congratulations. You're proving to yourself that you can sit down and not do too much, because a lot of people, they don't even have attention spans anymore. So if you made it this far, that's a pat on the back within itself. It's Dipsy. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you just analyze your life, because I had to analyze mine and ask myself, where is this constant stimulation coming from? And I promise you, it's not hard to find. It's your phone. And matter of fact, before I close this video, I want you guys to actually go to your phone. You can go to settings and check your usage. Go to settings and check your usage. It will completely illuminate how much time we spend on our phones on a daily basis. It is appalling to think that a lot of people's usage rate is hovering between 6 to 8 hours a day on their phone. That is essentially a whole third of your day, and one third of your day is literally spent towards sleeping. So we are literally wasting away our days on technology and wondering why life doesn't feel good. Hope you guys understand the message. I'll catch you guys later, and peace out.